Hello everyone, so if you're not aware, we recently released two documentaries on Cathedral City cheese, the UK's favourite cheese, apparently the most popular cheese in the UK, and these documentaries, the contents of them, exposed extreme acts of animal abuse at two locations in the Cornish countryside. As a result of these two documentaries, there was national media, it went completely viral online, and there were thousands and thousands of disgusted comments from people who buy Cathedral City cheese, and as a result of that, there have been multiple complaints made to YouTube by the offenders in the footage. First of all, the non-graphic version of this documentary, which we went to great lengths to censor anything that we believed was graphic, must have been heavily reported by some of these individuals because that was censored by YouTube. Now we have a graphic version that was released the next day. That version was not too graphic, actually, but apparently the non-graphic one was. We then received privacy complaints from the only two individuals that were not blurred in the film. Now the reason we didn't blur those two is because they were public figures already, they were already in the media, and they were also high-ranking staff at this facility. Now one of them was obviously the owner, the other was the son-in-law, who walks around with a clipboard, looks like he's in a managerial position or whatever. The son-in-law that denied working at the farm and chased us down and pretended he didn't work there and yada, yada, yada. Now we received privacy complaints from these two, even though they are not private individuals. They recently were in an article together here, digging a hole in Cornwall, planting corn. And if anyone's seen any of my digging references online, that's what I was talking about. The son-in-law digging his hole, because he doesn't just dig physical holes, he also digs metaphorical or figurative holes. When he chased us down, he didn't realize that we had footage of him abusing cows, okay? And we also have footage of the owner abusing cows. Now, if there was any denial that these two individuals were in the footage, like they've made a really grave mistake by reporting this video, because what's happened is YouTube, they have very strict kind of privacy guidelines on their channel, on their platform, sorry. The complaints process with YouTube is quite difficult, really, because we had this cleared by media lawyers. Because it's a matter of public interest and these people are in the public domain, and because of the nature of what's taking place, and they're talking about a very, very large cheese company in Saputo Dairy UK, which produced Cathedral City, being very, very big time, and these are big players. Everyone else of a lower level at those facilities was blurred. The only three people that were identified, the two farm owners, which are also directors of Davistow Creamery Direct, which is the main supplier, the only supplier of milk to Saputo Dairy UK. And one of those individuals' son-in-law, who also works at the facility in a high-ranking position. We took appropriate measures to blur any individuals who weren't already in the public domain. Still, their privacy complaints were acted upon by YouTube, even though we sent YouTube a big letter from our lawyer and things like that. They still went ahead and removed the documentary. They removed a journalistic piece where we even offered them a right to reply, gave them full opportunity to defend themselves. They removed the journalistic piece from YouTube because these two individuals don't want their faces connected to the abuse that they committed at the farm, even though they're already in media articles everywhere, and even though the news media have reported on it literally everywhere and named them and, you know, given the location of the farm. So for some reason, there's a different standard for me as a journalist than there is for other media, you know, outlets. But the grave mistake that those individuals have made is that they've timestamped with YouTube's privacy complaints process. You got to put the timestamp of where you're mentioned in the piece. And these two fools, these two animal abusing fools, if there was any way out for them for what's potentially coming, because the footage is being now analysed by lawyers for crimes that may have been committed. If there was any denial that Mr. Son-in-law, the hole digger, who was chasing me down in the car, if he worked at that facility in 2022 when abuse was being committed, there is no denial anymore because he's time-stamped his face that he didn't want to be shown in the film. He has confirmed, because the only individual that's allowed to make a privacy complaint is yourself. And therefore he's confirmed that he worked at the farm in 2022. Therefore, can't deny that now, can you? So that was a nice admission and confession from him that we needed. Thank you very much. And same with the owner. I'm not saying their names right now because I want this to stay out there, but I could, because I could just show you a media article right here. There they are. Are you gonna get a privacy complaint about this one? This was already out there. Look at the date. The date is pre our film being rolled out. There they are. Like, that is a public article. You can't remove this. Here is the owner here, smiling. We used that image in our video that was in the public domain. How can you get this removed based on privacy when they're in the public domain, these people? But, you know, YouTube make the final decisions, and it's not, what's happened now is the documentary has been removed, and we've submitted another online letter through another online process, and we're hoping that goes through to a more rigorous legal team who can analyze this as a public interest matter. And if you just look up YouTube's, you know, this might be a bit boring to some people, but they do say, how does YouTube decide if content should be removed by a privacy violation? We consider public interest, which it obviously is in the public interest. Everyone was interested in it. That's why it went extremely viral. Newsworthiness, consent, and whether the information is otherwise publicly available. Now, newsworthiness, yes. Consent, you don't need consent to publish a public interest matter. You just don't. No one does that. Imagine if, you know, name the famous person or name the person that's in the public domain, and they said to the news, I don't want you to use my name and face in your article, like say Donald Trump or whoever. If you're in the public domain and you've done something wrong, then you don't have a right to being obscured. But YouTube have their own rules here. Sometimes they just make decisions that are unfair. Just considering different options for platforms at the moment. So yeah, it's newsworthy, 100% it's newsworthy. Consent, pff, mate, the son-in-law, he gave implied consent when he chased us down, people with cameras, and he knew we were journalists because we told the owner at the time that we were journalists, and he came and chased us down anyway and sat there for an hour, or what was that, 40 minutes or something like that, 30 minutes, talking to us all on camera. Yeah, that's implied consent, mate. And if the information is otherwise publicly available, look, the information is publicly available everywhere. Thanks for all those stamps to the two animal abusers in the documentaries who are trying now to get the graphic one removed. And if you would just like a nice little example, the owner has tagged where he doesn't want to be featured in the graphic version now, because he's probably thinking, oh great, we got the non-graphic one removed, right? Now I want to get the graphic one removed. This fool has put the timestamp 1409 to 1427. We strongly suspect that the individual ramming this cow is the owner of the farm. Is the owner of the farm. So here he is, he's timestamped himself beating a cow and said, that's my face, that's my identity, and I don't want it revealed. You've just admitted that you're doing animal abuse. You've just admitted you're doing animal cruelty by confirming in timestamps that that's you. Man, I don't know who's advising you on this YouTube thing, mate, but that was either you're coming clean. Are you coming clean that that's you? That you did the abuse? Because if you're coming clean, then just come clean publicly. Why are you getting the NFU to speak to you on behalf of you in articles? Why don't you just come clean? You've just come clean to me in my emails here. Here it is. Here it is. I'll put it on the screen for you. This is the film that it's from. That's up right now. That he's trying to get removed, by the way. What I'm going to do now, since these two animal abusing scumbags are trying to get these videos taken. Now you're scumbags if you abuse animals like this. All right, that's what I'm saying. You abuse animals, we filmed you abusing animals. You are scumbags. That's my opinion of the matter. And I'm sure other people share that opinion too. Saputo Dairy UK, the owner, where they send all their milk to make Cathedral City cheese, you know, yeah, they say they have this, that they've suspended the farm temporarily, right? Temporarily while the investigation is conducted. The investigation has been conducted. There you go, you see him hitting the cows. What do you mean suspend them? You should never be working with this guy again. That's him in the footage. Investigation done for you. What they've now done is they sent an email out to all the farms that supply them saying to be careful and not to talk to strangers. Shall I get the exact wording up? Be careful of who? Of activists? Let's pull it up. Instead of sending an email out to all of the farms telling them not to abuse animals, what they've instead said is to be careful of any strangers. Don't talk to any strangers who come onto your property. That would be me. Because what this individual did, I feel like I can't even say his name now. Because what this individual did was talk to me. I'd like to stay anonymous if possible. Completely anonymous you will be. Any tip-offs, please send them my way. Neither of the farms you visited recently are clients of ours. However, I'd like to FYI, one of our farm vets said Saputo had sent an email warning to their farms and suppliers, telling them not to talk to strangers and to be more vigilant following the exposure. Be more vigilant. Be more vigilant. That's a weird thing to say to farms who are sending you milk. Wouldn't you say, stop abusing cows? Be more vigilant of activists? And this individual said, farmers should be fine talking to strangers if they're not doing anything illegal. And this is someone who works within a vet practice, right? Even like Saputo are acting like they're trying to cover things up instead of getting to the bottom of the animal abuse, like they say on their website. They're deeply against any forms of animal welfare violations. Very interesting. That's the update, guys. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about this? They could be getting this animal rights documentary removed as well, because they don't want their face connected to the cruelty. So I was thinking, seeing as they're so adamant about putting these privacy complaints on YouTube, I was thinking I'll just take these documentaries completely as they are and upload them everywhere. So I'll upload them to every single platform that I can find. We're going to see if maybe we can get this on Amazon Prime. But yeah, we're definitely going to upload it to every social media platform there is in entirety now, because they've got it removed from YouTube. And then I think I'm going to try to upload it to a platform that they just couldn't get it removed from, even if they tried. We've got BitChute, there's Rumble. Maybe Rumble might not remove it. And if not, then I'm just going to upload it direct to my hard drive for everyone to download from maybe a WeTransfer link or something like that. And then basically you're never going to get it removed. How about that? How about that? It was just going to stay on YouTube, but now I'm going to put it everywhere because we have the right to. You're trying to exploit YouTube's privacy complaints process to not put your face behind things. But what you have actually done is a blessing in disguise. Because what you're saying is the public don't deserve to know what goes into their Cathedral City cheese. They don't deserve to be informed about the animal abuse that you're committing in order to sell them a product, right? And that you believe that an entire documentary should be removed, like a journalistic piece should be removed, because you don't want your little face connected to the horrible things that you do in the dark. But what that's just going to do is make people want to see it more. Now, what you've done is admitted that that's you in the footage, in the secret footage. Removed any doubt. Now that we have confession from you, the standard of evidence is a lot lower. Don't have to jump through a million hoops to identify you two, that's for sure. And you can't say, oh, well, that might not be me in the footage. Well, yeah, you've just confirmed it. Thank you very much for confirming that that's you in the footage. To everyone else, we might be losing this documentary here too. This one might be being deleted as well. But as the moment that the second one goes down, we're going to upload them both everywhere. We'll be uploading everything everywhere over the next few days. I've been extremely busy with some other things at the moment that were extremely urgent. So I haven't been able to tend to this matter. But don't worry, we've got time to tend to it now. So thank you for everyone for all your support. Apologies that the documentary was removed. This is why. They're not very happy about it being out, are they? Not very happy about it at all. They're not very happy about being exposed. And I just want to say, it's a lot easier, right, to just work in another industry. If your job is so bad that whenever we film it and publish it, it causes public outrage and national media, then maybe it's time to get another job, right? Maybe it's time to do something else, right? But we all know that those millions and millions and millions of pounds you are receiving, it's just too much to give up, isn't it? You just would rather make all that money in darkness and just not get caught and just keep promoting higher welfare to the public, completely unaware consumer, and treat them all like suckers while you laugh all the way to the bank, right? Well, if you want to keep doing that, we're just going to keep coming for you. That's it. We're going to keep coming for you and exposing you for the horrific abuse that you commit against innocent, vulnerable beings. How about that? And then the public can see exactly what you get up to and decide whether or not they want to fund it. There you go. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Stay tuned for the multiple platform release of the documentary, so it's not going anywhere. And I'll speak to you all very soon.